Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about the universal field. I do talk about that quite a lot actually, and understanding, where we are, where humanity is at this time on planet Earth, when it comes to World War III. I talk about that too, and the fact that we're already in it, and that the majority of that battle, of that war, isn't taking place in the physical. It's taking place at higher levels of frequency. And really, yes, it is, closely associated with what you will read in scripture. I'm not religious, but what you will read in scripture all around the world about, the battle between good and evil. But I feel like so much of that, is there to make us fearful and disempower us, when really, I think many of us now, globally, are coming to that point where we are waking up to, the power of our minds, and we're being given and granted like a new level of access and capability that the majority, of us haven't had before. So it's almost like the earth is going up in frequency and we're going up with it. So we're given access to these new tools and these new munitions, I sometimes say, these weapons, but they're weapons of the heart. And they are liberating us, and they're helping us to liberate others, and to really, have, to become a beacon for the world, and for each other. So it's really beautiful what's going on, but at the same time, there obviously, the dark side, if you like, has really been working overtime to keep each of us trapped and fearful and confused and distracted. Right? I've had loads of that myself in the last few years, certainly the last couple of years. Where there's been a few things actually that have come at me where I've been, that have knocked me down, really knocked me down. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this, where you're like, how am I going to get up from this? This is impossible. And I never saw this coming. And I'm trying everything, and there's no way out. I've got no way of resolving this. And it really does a number on you, I watch someone online who talks about these energies, and he calls them many names, but one of them was principalities, that operate in the astral. They operate at various levels, and they feed off of, the minds of those of us, particularly when we're in fear and we're stuck and we're depressed. It's like a good lunch for them. But as we start to vibrate out of that, we're no longer a good meal. So that's what, we, in our own work that we're doing and how we're supporting each other, we need to remind ourselves about that, because, when we're not a tasty meal anymore, it's because we're getting a taste for something far greater. So the way I see things at the moment is like, you have the Most High, which is like, beyond frequency. It's whole and one and complete, completely pervasive, and it's a state of love. But that word is, far beyond the human understanding of it. So that's at the top of the tree, right? And then you have these kind of levels of illusion as you drop down into frequency and into lower frequency, and the war that I was talking about, it's occurring mostly, I think all of it in that astral, and a little bit down into the third density that we, most recognizable to us. And once you understand that you're a warrior and you're being empowered on this battlefield for this war, you start to realize just how much weaponry you're being given and just how much power you have to defeat these principalities. And once you get there, it's like it really becomes like a war games thing. Remember from the 80s, like the war games movies, and you're actually able to use munitions and drop bombs and all this, and just wipe these principalities out, wipe these demons out and these dark energies. And you can watch it happen in your mind's eye, and it's not like some big, oh wow, la la thing. It's just like you just notice it, and you're like, you might be having a certain thought during the day, and you're like, oh, that's interesting, you know. And but for them, it's death, and it's pain, and it's the end of a certain level of existence for them, and a way of operating, and what they're able to feed off and get sustenance from, and so they're then given a choice to, or they don't want to stay in that frequency. They can't anymore, so they'll normally bugger off. So and that's when you get into that level of visibility of what's going on and the power you have. You're then getting into that space of building the kingdom, but you're building it here in the 3D, right? But you're also building it there in the higher frequencies, and especially in the astral. And you start to see what it is you're actually establishing there through the power of your mind, and what a gift it is, and a beautiful thing and a miraculous thing to be able to be here doing this, but also to operate there building the kingdom. And obviously the kingdom that you build in there at these higher levels of frequency is also the kingdom that you build here. As above, so below. It repeats in the world around you. It's a mirror. And so, wow, to realize that you've got that power. And you start building your temples. You start building your places of great reverence and of high vibrations and of love and of peace, and much better complementing energies in terms of individuations of soul, of characters, of beings that from elsewhere, expression, just all these different expressions of the mind, and even some of them from the earth plane that perhaps aren't here anymore, or perhaps are still here, but you still see aspects of them. So there's all this gorgeousness to step into and to build. And I just wanted to paint that picture for you a bit, because I know there are people out there that are starting to experience this, and I do see a lot of people like myself talking about this stuff online. And let's just keep helping each other to establish that new bar, and that level of frequency and operation, because that's part of what we're here to do. And as you can see, it really lights me up, because this is no longer, before, I think years ago, it was more of a maybe, more of a like pipe dream or I wonder if that's true. And it's like, but now we're really stepping into this place of, oh no, it is true, and actually no, this is what we're doing, and isn't it amazing? So I think that was it. There's lots more to share on this. I can feel it, but I just wanted to get this one done today, because I know there'll be some people out there that will really appreciate it. So that was it. I'll catch you on the next one.